Hey everyone, it's Rob. I just got back from my honeymoon last week, so that was a nice, much needed break. And today I wanted to kind of talk about fake guitar playing and kind of show how I record stuff and go about specifically for like covers and how I'll end up probably recording my own music later on. I guess this is just like a big topic that has just kind of exploded over the past couple of weeks, and I was kind of unaware of it all because I was on my honeymoon, so we were hiking in the mountains, and I had no idea that any of this was going on. So I guess let's just jump into it. So, what is guitar faking? There's been a lot of talk about it recently, and I don't really want to spend too much time on, you know, calling people out or saying anything like that. I'm not going after any drama or anything. I'm just going to kind of explain what do people mean when they say that people are faking guitar playing. And essentially, at the end of the day, it's exactly as it sounds. People are recording, pre-recording music, and they're playing it, and then they're saying, "Hey, I'm playing this live," or they're speeding it up, or something like that. Or people would also consider miming faking as well. And for me, that's actually kind of what I do, and I'll explain exactly how I do that and why I do that in just a second. And I'm just gonna be upfront and honest about it. It's just way easier. But I think the biggest thing about guitar faking is just not being transparent about it and basically lying. So if you're like recording guitars and pre-recording everything and making everything perfect or going note by note or very specific little things, and then you're coming out saying, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this all live. This is perfect. I am a perfect person. This is exactly what I'm doing." I think that's kind of an issue. And yeah, I don't really pay attention too much to what people do. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell if people are faking or not. I'm like, when I watch a video, I'm just like, "Oh, that's really cool." I never really sit there and think, is this person faking or not? I just look at it and be like, "Oh, this sounds cool, and that's great." To me personally, I think that is an issue if someone is pre-recording everything and then they're saying, "Oh no, this is 100% live. Like, I'm playing this exactly. This is exactly what it would sound like in person," and that's kind of an issue. The other thing to me is would be like speeding up guitar parts and then also lying about that. Again, it's all about transparency. So that's why I'm kind of making this video, because I want to explain exactly what I do and show exactly how I do things. But anything where you're lying about it, I would say that's pretty bad. So for me specifically, what I do is I isolate tracks, and then I'll record all the guitar parts over it, and then I mime to it. So why would I do that? Or like, why would you pre-record anything at all? And why wouldn't you just do it completely live? Well, first of all, I'm a little lazy, and it's a much easier to do this. It's a lot harder to record live guitars, just because not only do I have to hit the play button on the actual like Logic, but then I have to do the video separately, then I have to sit down, and if I want to do another take, then I have to basically turn everything off and then restart it. So it makes it so much easier just to focus on recording and then making the video afterwards. So yes, technically what I'm doing isn't live, and you could say it's faking, and if you think I'm a terrible player for it, that's fine. Whatever, man. I know that I can play it. I've practiced the song, and I'm going through and playing it. So, another big reason why I do this is because I record multiple tracks. So, I double track everything that I play, unless if it's solos or clean parts. But the reason why I do that is, well, one, it sounds better, and yeah, it just saves time with editing. And again, I don't have to stop videos or do anything like that. And again, it doesn't mean that I couldn't play it live. I can most certainly play everything that I'm playing live. And yeah, it may not be exactly how it sounds as I pre-recorded it. And I'm fine with that. That's just the way it goes. Um, like, there might be a few more mistakes here and there, and might be some off timings here and there, but that's the way it is. I'm not a perfect player, and I'm just gonna come out and be honest and show what I do. So before I actually go in and actually show you guys exactly how I go through and record my covers and stuff like that, I kind of want to just explain a few things that I do. So with Logic Pro, I'm able to isolate all of the guitars out of the mix, and then I just have the bass, the drums, and the vocals for the song. So that's what I do. I take a song, and there's a stem splitter option where I completely isolate out all the guitars, and then I rewrite all of the guitar parts for that entire song. So if I were doing that live, I'd have to have like a bunch of different videos going for each and every part of the guitar if there's multiple guitar parts, and that would obviously get very hectic and would be weird, and it would just be a lot. So it's just so much easier to just record everything and then play along to it. The next thing that I do is specifically double tracking with a couple exceptions. So what is double tracking? It's essentially where you record the same exact part twice, and then you layer it on top of each other. And then normally, what I like to do is if I have a rhythm guitar and a lead guitar, if the song has the rhythm on the right and the lead on the left, or oh my god, I did that wrong. The rhythm on the left and the lead on the right, what I would do is I would double track the rhythm, put both tracks on the right, and then I would double track the lead and put both tracks on the right. And then, so what is the effect of this? One, it makes it sound heavier or like bigger. I guess it sounds more like a studio recording, which is kind of what I like to kind of have. It just sounds better overall. So that's essentially what I do. The two things that I don't double track for are acoustic and clean parts, because if you've ever recorded an acoustic guitar or a clean part, it is quite challenging. It is a lot different than having distortion covering up any kind of micro mistakes or anything like that. When you are recording clean, you have to be spot on perfect. And if it's not, it's very, very apparent, and it just sounds like if anything is slightly off with it, you can tell. So if you were to double track an acoustic, at least to me, if I were to double track it, and then unless if it's like spot on, exactly perfect, like note for note, played the exact same way, it's going to sound a little weird. And the same thing with solos. So solos are normally pretty technical, and it sounds really weird if you have a solo going and there's like slight variations going on with it. So that's why I when I record those, I only record those once, and then what I'll do is I'll just double them, and then I'll put them on either side. Those are the only things that I don't double track, just because it sounds kind of weird doing it like that. So the next thing that I want to kind of quickly talk about is just kind of reiterating that all the rhythm and lead parts are indeed double tracked. So I play through them twice, and I take 2 takes for both of them, for every single part that I do. And I guess talking about takes, that's the next thing that I want to quickly talk about. And I try to keep everything as one big take, unless if it's like so within reason. So essentially, if you have a heavy rhythm and a heavy lead part going at the same time, and then it stops for a little bit, and then let's say there's some clean parts or anything, obviously I'm going to stop playing like the recording there, and then I'll pick it up again once the guitar starts. Once the guitars start back up again. So that's something that I'll do. But for each specific take, I try my best to keep everything as one cohesive unit and one big take. So I'm not going through and I'm not, playing individual notes or anything like that. Occasionally, if I'm feeling lazy, if something is just slightly off, I will just go in and clean it up. If I don't feel like going back through and completely re-recording the entire take, it just saves me some time. That's pretty rare though. In one of the examples that I'll show you guys, I'll show you exactly what I did with that. But Normally that's if I'm just like really tired and I'm just like, I just want to get this done. I'll go through and record just a slight little piece, kind of going over some, like maybe a slightly timing mismanagement, or if there was like one wrong note or something, just to kind of make it sound better. But for the most part, I try to keep everything as one big take for each take that I have, and then so two tracks for each one, and normally two non adjusted tracks. So I'm not going through and like cleaning anything up or anything like that. If I was making an album, obviously you would go through and you'd clean up everything and make it sound perfect. For me, I'm trying to stay more like authentic as I can, and so you'll hear mistakes. You'll hear, well, quite a few mistakes normally in my music and like my recordings and stuff, because I'm not going through and I'm not cleaning up every little single thing that sounds off. So you'll hear string noise, and you'll hear some, some slight things here and there, or maybe even some like weird sounding notes if I didn't play the note properly. That to me, I'm not worried about it. It's just the way that it is, and yeah, for me, it makes it more like, hey, this is what it would sound like if I were to actually play this live. This is what I sound like. So now I'll go into kind of some examples and show you guys some projects that I've worked on, and kind of show you exactly what I'm talking about and kind of how I record stuff. So this is from my most recent cover of My Last Serenade, and you can see here that I have the vocals, drums, and bass isolated. And the way that you would do this in Logic is I would drag the song here, and then under processing, there is a stem splitter option. And when you click this, what it does is you can split out all of these different tracks here. So the vocals, drums, and bass are put into one track, and then everything else, so all the guitars are put into this track. I've deleted the guitar track off of this recording, so you won't see this here, but normally it would have a fourth track here with the guitars, and then I can like mute it or whatever. This is really, really nice because it allows me to isolate all the different parts, and then when I mix stuff, I can like raise the drums, or I can lower the bass, raise the vocals and stuff like that, or just overall adjust the like how loud the actual song is. So that's how I start. When I actually go through and record stuff, like I said, I double track everything. So here you can tell that these are two separate tracks here. So I have 0-1 here and 0-1 here, and this is right. So because of the way that My Last Serenade is, the lead and the rhythm are both on the left and right. So I don't split them up, but I do double track them and put each one section of the lead on the left, and then one section of the lead on the right. And the same thing with the rhythm. And this is a modified track here. So this is an example that I was talking about, where sometimes if I'm feeling really lazy, I'll go through and clean some stuff up. I'll show this in just a second. But I kind of want to show the acoustic stuff first. So again, for the acoustics and solos and stuff like that, you can tell that this is just copy pasted. And again, I just put the acoustic all the way on the left, all the way on the right. And the reason why I do this, once again, is because acoustic sounds really weird to me unless if it's played 100% perfectly exactly the same as the first track. Double tracking acoustic is kind of weird. And same thing with solos. So that's kind of what I wanted to show. And then I have additional guitar parts down here. This I just copied and pasted because I was feeling lazy on this. And then I have another take for the acoustic guitar back here, which is also, this take is just a copy of this one. But these are double tracks, so these are completely separate takes. And you can tell because there's differences, like you can see the differences in here. And what I do is I just play one gigantic take. if I can. So you can see that this take is not modified in any way. There's no modification here other than if I go here, you can let's see, I've just raised the volume on it and then I just fade it out here, but that I wouldn't say is faking anything. That's just audio adjustments. But these are definitely two different takes that I do, and that's how I double track it. And it's the same thing with this. The only difference here is that you can see that this is it's named a little differently, and the reason why is because I got lazy here at the end. So I have take one of both of these. It goes all the way through, and then I have take 2 and 3 over here. So instead of re-recording the entire take, there was one section that I just wanted to slightly clean up a little bit, and I was really tired, so I was just like, I'm just gonna re-record this part on just this specific part here instead of redoing this entire take. Normally, what I do if I make some mistakes is I would completely re-record the entire take as one. So this is why you hear like mistakes in my music. I don't go through and modify every single specific thing that I'm doing. Sometimes, occasionally, I'll go through and do this, and so you can tell that this part, yeah, I think this is the chorus here. I just wanted to get it a little cleaner. So sometimes I'll go through and like replay through a part and then just do that. But I'm not going through and like playing individual notes or anything like that. This is all just one big take for the most part, other than a couple re-recorded parts. And then the lead guitar is completely just one gigantic take for the entire song. So that's essentially how I go about it. So this is more of a simpler example when there's just a couple guitars here. I'll show my other guitar cover of the Andy James cover where I have a lot more stuff going on because there's a lot of guitars in that. But yeah, so this is essentially what I do. So I record all this stuff, and then when I make the video, I just play along with it. And whether you think that's bad or if you think I can't play it, that's fine. I'm showing that this is all one take here. There's no modifications. I know I can play it, and that's it, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just showing exactly what I do and kind of how I do it. So now let's jump into the Andy James cover that I have with a lot of different guitars. All right, so for the Andy James cover, this song is a little bit more complicated. So and you can definitely tell that I did do a little bit of editing here for some of the parts. And again, it was basically just splitting up some of the parts, specifically some of the solos, because essentially this song is just one gigantic solo. So essentially some of this stuff, like specifically here, you can see that I stopped part of the solo here, took a break, and then came back and played the next part of the solo. And I do this at the end here as well. So this is like multiple different parts of the song that I'm doing. But again, for the most part, I'm not going through and editing individual notes or anything like that. And again, if you want to say I'm a terrible player for doing that, you know, that's fine. I'm just showing what I'm doing and how I do things. But again, you can see I double track everything. So this is all except this lead. The main lead here and the harmony, because these are both technically, like, this is like a lead harmony that harmonizes with this lead. So it would sound really weird if I double tracked these. So for these parts specifically, I just kind of copied and pasted them. But this is double tracked. This is double tracked. This is all double tracked. The heavy outro is double tracked. The clean, I'm kind of surprised. I actually did double track the cleans here. I think this is more of a dirty clean, if I remember properly. And then, yeah, the overdrive is also double tracked. So, and same thing with the, yeah, this is more overdriven guitar. And again, you can see here that I left this stem in, but when I actually, um, it's muted. So this is like the actual guitar parts that Andy James is playing, but I left in his bass and his drums. There aren't any vocals to the song, but then I re-recorded all of the guitar parts. So essentially, that is how I do it. Not trying to hide anything. I'm just kind of showing what I do. And specifically for this video, I definitely had some mistakes, and you can hear mistakes in my playing. It's not perfect at all, because this song to me is still, it's a fairly challenging song. It's a hard song for me to play. But I I believe that if I were to play it live, it would sound pretty similar to the video that I have. So essentially, that's how I do everything. I just wanted to be kind of transparent and kind of show what I do and how I do it. But yeah, that's about it. And that's how I record all my guitars, guys. I hope you guys liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not really, again, I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm showing exactly how I do it, why I do it that way. So, yeah, but if you have any questions about literally anything that I do, I'm more than welcome to explain and show stuff or anything like that. And I think going forward, this is probably how I will end up doing it, even for my own music, just because, again, it's just so much easier to do it like that. And I understand if people are upset about it and they think I can't play it or whatever, that's fine. I don't really care. I know that I can play it, and I practice the songs a lot, and again, I try to keep everything into one track if I can. Some of the more technical stuff, I do break it apart just because I try to get it to sound as good as I possibly can. But I'm not sitting here trying to hide and say, oh yeah, this is all live, this is all one take, anything like that. Um, this is how I do it, and yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys next week.